What if I told you that every heartbreak, every betrayal, every emotional spiral you've experienced with a woman wasn't her fault? That the pain you carry isn't because she's evil or because you're not enough, but because she was never fully in control. Not of her emotions, not of her actions, not even of her love. This is what the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer believed. His views were so raw, so brutally honest, that even today people avoid talking about them. He didn't speak in polite theories. He spoke about what men actually experience but are too afraid to admit. He believed that women are not driven by reason or conscious morality, but by something deeper, something older, a force that even they cannot understand. He called it the will, a blind, unconscious drive to survive, reproduce, and adapt. And he said this will lives inside every woman like a program that she herself cannot override. Schopenhauer didn't see this as personal. He didn't say women were bad. He said they were ruled by something nature had written into their very being, something more powerful than love, words, or promises, something they don't talk about because they don't fully see it themselves. To prove this, he pointed to how women behave under pressure. He noticed that when a woman is in love, she speaks of loyalty and forever, but when a stronger, more exciting, or more useful man appears, that loyalty shifts without warning, and she doesn't see herself as a traitor. She believes her own new feelings. Why? Because her unconscious will has made the decision for her, and her mind follows after. This is why Schopenhauer warned, never judge a woman by what she says. Judge her by what she does when things no longer benefit her. He believed the female psyche is built for flexibility, not for truth, not for constancy, but for adjustment, survival, and advantage. In his words, nature has given women cunning as a replacement for strength. That means charm, innocence, and vulnerability aren't just traits, they're tools. Automatic tools used not out of cruelty but instinct. And here's the part most men never understand. When she leaves you, when she stops loving you, when she turns cold, it's not because she made a careful decision. It's because her will made it for her, long before she could explain it, long before you even saw it coming. Schopenhauer believed, this force, the will, is stronger than any conscious thought. It doesn't care about logic, promises, or effort. It only asks one question. Does this man give me the best chance to survive and pass on my genes? If the answer becomes no, her feelings vanish like smoke. And the most terrifying part? Even she doesn't know why. You can ask her what changed. She'll say things like, I don't know. I just don't feel it anymore. Or I need time to find myself. But the truth is, it wasn't about you. And it wasn't about her either. It was about the will. That's why Schopenhauer's ideas were hated. Because they took away the fantasy, the dream that love is mutual, fair, and conscious. He said that when a man gives a woman his heart, he's not entering a fair deal. He's gambling against a force that doesn't care about his soul. Most men don't want to believe this. They want to think she chose them for who they are. That love will last if they're loyal, kind, and supportive. But Schopenhauer would say this, that belief is not love. It's delusion. You can't fix this by being better. You can't stop it by loving harder. Because the problem isn't you. The problem is that you thought she was in control. You thought she was like you, but she's not. Not deep down. If men don't learn this truth, if they keep believing that women love the same way they do, then pain is guaranteed. Not once, not twice, but again and again. You will keep giving your best, your loyalty, your time, your heart, and you will keep getting left, confused, or used. And each time you'll ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Schopenhauer warned that this confusion isn't just painful, it's dangerous. Because a man who doesn't understand female nature becomes a man who destroys himself trying to earn love that was never truly his. He becomes the provider who works himself into the ground while she drifts away. The lover who gives everything only to be replaced by someone who gave nothing. The husband who is loyal for years, only to be abandoned. When his usefulness fades, this is the silent tragedy no one talks about. Men blaming themselves for outcomes that were never in their control. Because here's the truth. If a woman's love is driven by her unconscious will, if her desires change with biology, mood, or opportunity, then the man who takes her words as truth is walking into a trap. Schopenhauer believed that the only way to protect yourself is to accept this brutal reality. If you don't understand what drives her, you'll always be a victim of it. Schopenhauer didn't look at women through romance or religion. He looked through the cold lens of nature. He believed women are not individuals acting with full freedom, but instruments of a biological process, the will to life. To him, nature doesn't care about feelings. It only cares about reproduction. And women, in this system, are nature's agents. Their charm, their nurturing behavior, their beauty, it's all designed to fulfill one goal: continuation of the species. Not because they chose this role, but because nature gave it to them without asking. In his essay on women, Schopenhauer wrote that a woman's body and mind are created for one thing: to select the best man to father her children, and then to extract the most resources from him. Love, in this case, is not a deep soul connection. It's bait. It appears real. It feels real. But underneath, it serves a biological purpose. He even pointed out how a woman's short-term focus is a survival advantage. While men often think long-term, building, planning, sacrificing, women, according to Schopenhauer, focus on the now, the present moment, the most useful provider, the most secure path. If that changes, her behavior changes too. This is why Schopenhauer said women are experts at hiding their true intentions, even from themselves. Not because they're liars, but because they are ruled by instinct, not reflection. He called it cunning instead of strength. Since women don't have the same physical power as men, nature gave them something else: emotional power. They can read people. They can sense weakness. They know how to please, how to cry, how to guilt, how to mirror, and none of this is planned. It's automatic. For example, Schopenhauer noticed how women often appear submissive in relationships, but in reality, they are the ones controlling the emotional tone. They know exactly when to give affection and when to take it away, not out of cruelty, but because it works. The goal is not love. The goal is security. And once that's achieved, if someone else offers more status, more strength, more excitement, nature pushes her to shift. And here's what makes it worse. She doesn't feel like she's doing anything wrong. In her mind, the new feeling is real. The old love feels like a lie. But it wasn't, it just served its purpose, and nature has moved on. This is the brutal clarity Schopenhauer offered. Women are not evil, but they are not free in the way men imagine. They are vehicles of nature. And if a man forgets that, if he believes he's dealing with an equal rather than an instrument of biological strategy, he will lose everything and never know why. Schopenhauer believed that one of the greatest lies in society is the belief in female virtue. He argued that what looks like goodness in a woman is often just clever instinct, her way of appearing harmless while pursuing her goals. Not out of evil, but because survival demands it. From a young age, girls are trained, consciously or not, to appear gentle, kind, and selfless. But this is not because they are naturally moral or more loving than men. It's because society rewards them for looking that way. And when survival depends on approval, appearances become everything. Schopenhauer observed that a woman's external behavior often hides her internal reality. She may smile, show affection, and say all the right words, but underneath, her instincts are always calculating. Is this man strong enough? Useful enough? Does he give me what I need? Now, if the answer is yes, she stays. If the answer is no, something inside her starts to shift, and the shift is subtle. It doesn't begin with words. It begins with a look, a withdrawal, a change. In tone, you feel it before you see it. And when you ask her what's wrong, she says, nothing. But Schopenhauer would say, everything is changing beneath the surface. The most dangerous part is that she believes her own illusion. When she tells you, I would never hurt you, she means it. In that moment, it feels true. But when the time comes to walk away, to choose comfort over commitment, to betray rather than stay, her instincts make the decision. And she finds a way to justify it afterward. We grew apart. I need to find myself. You've changed. But the truth is simpler. You stopped being useful. Schopenhauer called this the conflict between nature and reason. He said women are less concerned with truth than with outcome. They don't need to be logically consistent. They only need to adapt emotionally. One day, you are her world. The next, she's a stranger. And she doesn't think she's lying. because her feelings have changed, and to her, feelings are truth. This is why Schopenhauer warned men never to judge a woman's character by how she behaves when she's happy and comfortable. Her real nature is revealed when things become difficult, when sacrifice is required. That's when instinct replaces charm and survival comes first. You thought she was loyal, you thought she was kind, but what you saw was a performance, beautiful, convincing, and temporary, because when instinct calls, appearance collapses, and by the time you realize it, she's already gone. One of Schopenhauer's most powerful ideas was this: men don't fall in love with women, they fall in love with their own illusion of her. They project loyalty, depth, and moral strength onto someone who, by nature, is built for flexibility, not permanence. When a woman shows interest, men often believe it's a sign of deep emotional connection. She laughs at your jokes, touches your arm, says she feels safe with you, and in that moment you feel chosen. You believe it means something lasting, but Schopenhauer warned, what you're feeling is real, but what she's feeling may not be. Her actions in the present are guided by instinct, not reflection. She mirrors you, adapts to your energy, becomes the woman you want, because in that moment, your value to her is high. You are the best option, the safest provider, the strongest protector, but this isn't loyalty, it's survival. Her unconscious is constantly scanning. Can he still provide? Can he still lead? Does someone better exist? And when that answer shifts, so does her affection. Not slowly, instantly. And here's what hurts most. She doesn't even feel guilty, because her biology convinces her that her new feelings are the truth. Schopenhauer compared this to a trap. A man blinded by hope and emotion gives everything, his time, energy, commitment, thinking he's building something real. But the foundation was never solid. It was based on instinctual interest, not moral commitment. This is why many men are shocked when a relationship ends without warning. She was loving, attentive, passionate, until one day she wasn't. No fight, no betrayal, no explanation. Just emotional distance. Just silence. And when you ask why, she'll say things like, I don't know. Something's missing. What's missing is the feeling that once made you useful. Modern science has confirmed what Schopenhauer saw in human behavior over a century ago. Studies show that during different phases of a woman's hormonal cycle, her attraction shifts. During ovulation, she's drawn to dominance. During menstruation, she's repelled by weakness. These aren't conscious choices. These are instincts, ancient programs running beneath her awareness. So when you give her stability, comfort, and support, she may reward you for a while. But when that comfort becomes predictability, her body begins to push her away, not out of cruelty, but out of genetic design. And here's the most painful truth. You didn't do anything wrong. You just confused interest for loyalty. You thought desire meant devotion, but to her biology it meant opportunity. And when that changed, so did everything else. What men must do. Schopenhauer's brutal advice for male independence. Arthur Schopenhauer, the famously blunt German philosopher, didn't mince words when it came to relationships between men and women. His views were often harsh, but they stemmed from a sharp realism about human nature and survival. He wrote, "The wise man will live among women as a lion among sheep." This brutal metaphor points to a deeper set of lessons men must embrace if they want true independence and emotional sovereignty. Lesson 1. Never expect loyalty from someone who lives for survival. Schopenhauer believed that most people, especially women in his time, operate primarily out of survival instinct. This isn't about cynicism, but about understanding the primal motivations that drive behavior. Loyalty, then, is not guaranteed. It is conditional and fragile. If a man bases his security or happiness on unwavering loyalty from someone whose priority is survival and self-preservation, he is setting himself up for disappointment. Men must accept this uncomfortable truth and stop expecting unwavering devotion as a given. Instead, they must learn to stand strong regardless of others' shifting loyalties. Lesson 2. Withdraw affection, and her mask drops. One of Schopenhauer's sharpest insights was how quickly the protective mask many wear falls away when affection is withdrawn. Love and attention act like a spotlight. When shining, they can create illusions of warmth and connection. But when a man pulls back his affection and emotional investment, the reality beneath the surface often reveals itself. This isn't about manipulation, but about clarity. It teaches men to avoid being blinded by appearances or false promises, and to remain alert to the true nature of those around them. Lesson 3. Build solitude, not dependence. Above all, Schopenhauer admired celibacy and a monk-like detachment. He saw solitude as the foundation of emotional sovereignty and intellectual freedom. Rather than seeking dependence through relationships that can entangle and weaken, men should cultivate solitude, a state where their strength and peace come from within. This solitude is not loneliness. It is a powerful independence that allows a man to engage with the world on his own terms. It means building a fortress around one's mind and spirit, impervious to external chaos or emotional manipulation. Schopenhauer's brutal advice is a call to reject illusions and build a life based on realism, self-reliance, and detachment. His respect for celibacy wasn't asceticism for its own sake, but a radical form of freedom. Freedom from emotional chains, from dependence on others' unstable affection, and from the ever-shifting tides of survival instincts around us. For Yawar, men seeking independence, the lion among sheep isn't just a metaphor, it's a way of living, dominant, detached, and sovereign. Schopenhauer wasn't bitter, he was clear-eyed. He didn't hate women, he simply saw through them. He recognized the illusions men are sold from a young age, the fantasy that the right woman will complete them, heal their wounds, or save them from themselves. This dangerous hope traps men in cycles of dependence, disappointment, and lost freedom. The truth is harsh but freeing. No woman can fill the void inside you, and no amount of validation from others will create lasting peace. You don't need to escape women. You need to stop being ruled by what you hope they are. It's not about rejection or bitterness. It's about reclaiming your power by shifting your focus inward. True freedom comes when you break the chains of dependency on others' affection or approval. When you build your life on self-reliance, emotional sovereignty, and clear-eyed realism, you become a lion living among sheep, not because you dominate others, but because you are untouchable by illusions. If this opened your eyes, if you feel ready to reclaim your independence and live beyond false hopes, type truth in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about what real freedom means for men today.